really pouring outside. Today I did a trip down in Chinookville. I think this will be my last night here, to some of the islands, and I thought I'd make a video on Phnom Penh while I still have it somewhat fresh in my mind. This is really my second time to Cambodia, officially my first, but when I was in Don area, I crossed over to a little village. Oh, that's Pakse. That's when I crossed the border into Thailand. Here's Don. And I crossed over to an island here, Kampong Sralao, Cambodia, out of Muang Son. Muang Son, Kampong Sralao, Cambodia, when I was in Dong Kong area of Don in Laos. So, but I flew into Phnom Penh, which was a mistake. I should have done what I did in Laos. In Laos I flew into Luang Prabang and saw the ancient culture first. Here I should have gone to Siam Reap first, around Angkor Wat here, and then come down to here. Kind of dumb of me to do it this way, but I didn't have the best opinion of Phnom Penh and subsequently of Cambodia. Cambodia's got a rather dreadful history. If you're not familiar, in the 1970s, the Khmer Rouge tried to establish an agrarian state in Cambodia and killed off 1.7 million intellectuals, drove another 1.3 out of the country. Any educated professional person was done away with. They still really haven't recovered. I don't know if they're on the lowest level of developing country. I think they just got delisted by the World Bank or something. I saw an article, but something's going on. In an upgrade of their status. Anyway, I stayed at 11 Happy Backpacker. The airport is out here, and it's about a 6-hour flight from Tokyo. It's a set $12 to get into town. This area is called Riverside. 11 Happy Backpacker is a popular place to stay, and I stayed there 3 nights and then moved down to Golden Street here, because that area by the Riverside's full of titty bars. And it just got really depressing, the sex industry here. Over on Golden Street there's a couple local places to go to. There's Club Love. Most of the locals, at least some of the middle class or lower middle class locals, will go to Top Banana Hostel's Roof Bar and then Club Love on a Friday or Saturday. But I've been disappointed both times I've gone there. Cambodia is really not a place to go for nightlife. If you have anything going for you anyway. If you're like a backpacker, I think it's great, but other than that, it's not so great. There is some Thai style club Epic here, and someone told me there's another one around here. Naga World has an upscale club called Darling Darling at the casino in the Tonla Basak area. There's also a street that just sprang up over here called Basak Lane off of Street 308 that has some small bars, that has kind of a local atmosphere but still very touristy. Most, people are living on $3 a day. They can't afford to go out, and most local girls won't go out because the nightlife is infested with pay-for-play prostitutes like Heart of Darkness. Someone told me Heart of Darkness is a gay club. I went in there, I didn't see many women. I guess that must be why. Pontoon, I went a couple times. It's got good music, but it's like 99% prostitutes. And if you don't mind paying $10 and having sex with a prostitute, I guess it would be great. But to me, none of them were even attractive, and I never paid for sex, so I wouldn't advise that in a country with very high STD rates. There's a place kind of next to Pontoon called Madhouse that a local took me to, but it's really nasty. I think we only went there because the DJ was a friend, and it's a cement box that has no ventilation. There was like a few people in there smoking, and it was like being in a Japanese smoking box. It made me sick. This is the reggae bar, which has a roof, which I didn't like either. So there's that, and then there's some titty bars. Someone recommended Oscar Bistro. I've never been in there. It has kind of a loungy feel to it. There's some places. There's the Foreign Correspondence Club along the riverside. Further down here. That's just a place to have a drink. It's not a club or anything. It's really a restaurant. Old foreign Palace is over here in the National Museum. Those are the two main attractions. Royal Palace is boring. National Museum, you could spend half a day. What else? There's a bunch of boutique hostels. Cambodia Vietnam Friendship Monument, Statue of the King, Independence Monument. Some Wats around that are interesting. Probably the nicest Wat is Wat Unalam. Up here you've got Wat Nam. The library and the Raffles Hotel have interesting architecture to stop by. There's nothing to see at the French Embassy. That was a waste of time. Silk Island was a waste of time. The weavers here are nothing special. I wouldn't waste time with that. I paid $20 to a tuk-tuk driver to go here, and he drove me up to the tip of the beach, and we stopped here. It was a trashy beach. The Tonle Sap River, or is it Mekong River, I guess, splits in two up there. So people go up to Udon for a day trip. This was $30 by tuk-tuk. Again, not really worth it. A ruined Wat. It used to be the capital, so it's historic. At one point it was the capital for the medieval period, I think, of maybe for a long time actually it was the capital. 1618 to 1866, yeah. But there's really nothing to see. There's a silver and bronze craftsman shop across the Tonle Sap River. The Tonle Sap River reverses its flow in the rainy season and empties into Tonle Sap Lake and up by Siam Reap and Angkor Wat. That's why they chose to build Angkor Wat here, because they built a lot of irrigation canals from the lake. Cambodia is kind of one big basin with some mountains over here along the coast, Cardamom Mountains. And then it drains the lake and flows south in the dry season now. Going south of town for a day trip, the Killing Fields is the most popular. This is where they killed a lot of people. The Khmer Rouge killed a ridiculous number of people. This is just one of 300 killing fields in the country. And then another trip is Phnom Tamao Wildlife Rescue Center. It's a zoo. You can drive your motorbike around. They have some big cats and lots of gibbons and that kind of stuff. So you just drive your motorbike around. On the way you stop off and go to Tonlabati, which is popular on the weekends but deserted during the week. There's a couple cool temples. They look like they're out of Indiana Jones or something. You can walk around. And then I tagged this on. I wouldn't advise doing it. Nam Chisor. There's a decent view from up here at Nam Chisor. And it's a cool temple, Angkor period temple. But I had to drive back in the dark, which most people would probably die if they had to do that. I have a lot of motorbike experience, so I was fine with it, but I would not advise anyone else to do it. It's dangerous just for the fact that you have to have something to cover your eyes because there's so much dust on the road, and most of the motorbike helmets that have a covering or have built-in sunscreen, so it makes it really dark, or you can wear sunglasses. So if you don't have some kind of clear goggles to wear, it's very dangerous at night to drive. I'd almost drive in like a scuba mask or something if you have it with you. A lot of people come down here to Sinukville to go scuba diving. The other trip you can do out of Phnom Penh, which is a real stretch, is to go to Kiraram National Park. It was about a 4-hour drive, and there's 2 branches of the park. I went to Chambak Ecotourism Site first, and then there's a hike to a waterfall about 3 kilometers. This last hour of the motorbiking, after you get to about here where the split is, was just a slosh through mud with several water crossings. I can't imagine ever doing it. I mean, it had rained the night before, but in the rainy season, I think it must be impassable. And then the other branch, Kiraram Waterfall, is just really a cascade, so it's not really worth going to on a day trip. The bus passes by it down here to Sanukville. Sanukville doesn't have all that much to see. Riam National Park, I did a hike with a ranger to a lookout. It was kind of stupid. You can get a cheaper rate if you do a booking and you do a cruise to some of the mangroves and the hike. I paid 10 for 20, I think. They'll take you and give you lunch, and you do the hike and you do that. I don't know where the hike goes. They call this China Beach because of all the development down here by Chinese resorts. Otres Beach is a paradise, but other than that, the beaches are really trashy unless you go out to some of these islands. These are all called the Southern Islands here. And Riam National Park, and then tomorrow I'll go out here to Korang and Korang Sanliam. They have full moon parties out here where people dance all night at a rave at the beach kind of thing. Again, I think it's not going to be fun unless you're a backpacker. I kind of wish I did that stuff when I was a little younger, because now I just kind of really have no interest in the people that do it. It's not like, oh, like you go into that Big Easy bar up here where it's all backpackers and you're like, why am I here? Like, I'm not enjoying it. So anyway, there's another national park up here. You can go into the Thai border up here from Koh Krong, but there's not much to see in Koh Krong. From here I'll go down tomorrow after I get back from my trip to Campo, and then go up to Boker Hill Station, and then continue on the next day, I think, down here to Kep, and a couple things to see there, and then maybe I can take the train or a bus back up. I wanted to try to stop down here in Kiravong, see Phnom Biong, but it's kind of out of the way to get there. It's better to just go back up towards Takao. There's a couple things to see out of Takao too. A couple nice wats and stuff. And then I thought I'd go up here. I wanted to get to Siam Reap before New Year's, when it might be too packed to find a room. If I get there beforehand, I can probably book something. And that's everything in the country, unless you're going to go over here towards Krati, the only other real city in Stung Treng province area, which leads into Siphandan, where I've been right to the border in Laos. When I was in Laos, I stayed in Don Det. So, Siphandan, 4,000 islands. It's a cataract in the Mekong River. It's the Mekong River there. So more back on Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh's really short on sites. You can stop by the Olympic Stadium. It was ruined by the Khmer Rouge along with a lot of other Western buildings. Thankfully they left the National Palace as a showcase. This is important. The Genocide Museum at S21 prison. You get a good dose of the history of, again, the killing, the torture and killing of innocent, Cambodians by their own people. This will be developed into an area. I heard a tour guide say Tonle Sap area is going to get the largest skyscraper in Southeast Asia. There'll be like a 1,550 meter skyscraper going in there at some point. I don't know. There's a nice view from the Tonle Sap Sky Bar over here. You can look right into the National Palace from up there. It's a nice view at sunset over towards Wat Naloom and the National Palace. Royal Palace. Silver Pagoda is part of the Royal Palace Pavilion. It's got like a few small museums in there to see. It's kind of a clone of Wat Po. They have like an Emerald Buddha. Some bars. These are other options, Nova, Vito and Nova. I went into Vito but not Nova. Vito had, when I went there on a Thursday, there was like one group dancing and then a couple prostitutes at the bar, and I didn't bother going into Nova. People have told me it's good. But Epic is not a good bar. It's Thai style. Everyone's sitting at tables, no dance floor, no mixing. The bar, no one goes to the bar and orders. And it's just a place for the rich, the children of the rich Cambodian upper class to show off their wealth. There was a shooting. Someone told me there was a drive-by shooting there the other night. security guard got shot. They shot up the front of the building or something. I don't know. The nicest gym is over here. There's another reason I stayed over here, but I never used it. The Place Gym is up here by Golden Street. The Golden Street, I stayed at the Golden Gate Guest House. They call it Golden Street because a lot of the places have golden in their name, the guest houses. For $15 a night, I had my own private room and bathroom, like here with laundry service. You have to pay for laundry, so it's only $1 or $2 to pay for laundry. But it was nice because you just leave it outside your. This is the best bookstore in town, Monument Books. They, have all English language guidebooks, but they just do your laundry and leave it for you in front of your door in the evening. The Bofana Center has films, so you don't have to bother remembering to go pick it up. The Cyclo Center does tours. Oh, Central Market. This is a nice Art Deco market in a big Art Deco colonial building. I didn't go to the train station, but I heard it's a cool Art Deco French building too. There's a nice gallery here. Van Nath was one of the few survivors of the prison, and they kept people there who had use. He was a painter, so he did some documentary stuff. I don't know why the Khmer Rouge, a lot of totalitarian regimes document their atrocities. So stupid, but they took photographs of everyone they killed and had him paint stuff. So weird. It's the Parliament building. You'll pass by it if you come in from the airport. Maybe it's a nice view, big building. There's stuff to eat at. You don't need my recommendations for that. There's plenty of places. Blue Pumpkin's a place you'll see a lot of. Daughters of Cambodia Visitor Center has a cafe. They get jobs for women to exit the sex industry. And from what I hear, the trafficking of women may be overrated. I know people have told me that they do have a lot of women. The oldest daughter will often get sold into prostitution to pay for raising the other children. They figure that's better to sacrifice one kid than all of them. I've heard things like that, but I don't know how many women are trafficked, because I talked to the prostitutes. It's unavoidable when you're in pontoon dancing around, and they approach you and stuff, and none of them told me that they were trafficked. I actually kind of interviewed a lot of them, and they were just trying to pick up some extra money because it's hard to find a decent job. And they'll ask you for like a ridiculous amount of money, like $50, and then just out of curiosity, once or twice, they very quickly would like bargain down to like $10, but there's just no way. I mean, there's a pretty high STD rate here. I would not advise doing that. And they're not all that attractive anyway because they don't exercise. There's like a few that were like emaciated, skinny, or like beer belly pouch, so it's kind of sad. This is the zoo. Give you an idea what's at the zoo. Plenty of tigers, some alligators. This is as you drive around, everything you see. Different animals. It's a nominal fee to get in. You drive your bike everywhere, so you don't have to worry about it. This was cool. At the National Museum, the Cambodian Living Arts Association, which also does tours, has a show every night at 7, I think it was, of traditional dances. So that's worth going to see. I think it was like 15 or 20 bucks. This is the brochure from the Genocide Museum. I don't want you taking pictures inside, not that there's all that much to see. I think it was a high school or a junior high before it was turned into the headquarters for the security force in the prison. They were burying people here, but they ran out of room. It's a really horrible history, but it's an important point to understand Cambodia to go there. This is from the Killing Fields, my audio guide. When you walk around the Killing Fields, you'll see, they have a monument here with the skulls in it stacked, and you can see the graves kind of start in this area. This is where they're burying them all. They would club them to death to save money on the bullets and play music to drown out the sounds of them moaning. They buried people still half alive. They were trucking them in and trying to kill them all a day, but I think they were killing around 300 people a day, and they couldn't kill any more, so they had to have a temporary area to hold them for at least a night a lot of the time. It's a very sick history. They emptied out most people from Phnom Penh by telling them the United States was going to bomb the city, and then once they got them out of the city, they either relocated them to, these are all the mass graves they found around. They either relocated them to communes or, took them to killing fields or prisons to be interrogated. And when they arrested someone, they arrested their whole family. So they would arrest, you and your whole family, and then torture you and kill you and ask you to name names, and then anyone you name they'd arrest. It was like very crazy system. They had an impossible goal to try to triple their rice output in like 1 year. It's like you probably killed off the only people who might have been able to increase it a little bit by building some extra canals, and improving the efficiency. But like they had these just ridiculous goals. Here's the brochure from the National Museum. The National Museum's got the best collection of Khmer sculpture in the world, but other than that, there's some nice bronzes and a few nice wooden sculptures, but nothing else really stood out to me. They don't have much in the way of the prehistory stuff. The building's architecturally interesting. Fish scale tile roof with Naga decorations. So if you're like me and you want to read everything, it might take you half a day to do everything in there. I was able to do that and the National Palace in the same day. They do have some good pieces, but some of the best stuff was destroyed by the Khmer Rouge around the country, and some of it carted off by colonists and the Thai. Maybe being a French territory was actually a good thing for the 100 years or so, 90 years of them being a French territory, because it protected Cambodia from both the Thai and the Vietnamese, which were maybe threatening to swallow them up, although I think, the Thai were busy fending off the British on one side and the Cambodian, the French on the other. The French had Vietnam anyway. Thailand was never conquered. Actually, supposedly Thailand gave up Angkor Wat as part of their territory in exchange to the French for not being colonized. Malas is a pretty good restaurant. They said it was the best restaurant in my guidebook. I asked other people. I don't know about that. I didn't have fish amok there, but I made that in a cooking class. It's a traditional dish. It's like the signature dish. Amok try, fish and banana leaf curry with the curry paste sauce. I have a couple, actually. I have another location up on the Independence. No, this is one I went to by Independence Monument. Their other one is by the Provincial Hospital. No, that's in Siam Reap, okay. They have a couple restaurants that they do. And that was one. This place was renting for $400 a month, maybe $450, $550 a month. A little nicer. This is where I stayed. They were renting for $400 a month the room, so you get a little bit of a discount if you wanted to stay there. I don't know why you would. It would be very depressing. You can do a cooking class here too at La Khmer Table. I did their cooking class for $20. If you do the morning class, they'll take you to the market, I think. And then if you go north of town, there's a brewery that'll give you a tour, very small craft brewery, Kingdom Brewery tour. And if you go further, there's a stadium on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. They have some fighting called Pradalsari, but you can maybe practice it here too at this place, this school, which I guess is near the train station, Cambodian Parliament. They filled in the lake up here where Boang Lake used to be. There's a big backpacker area, but they filled it in for development. Now people have told me it's caused the city to flood much more than it used to when it's rainy. It's kind of weird. But in a nutshell, that's really most of what there is to do. The Tonle Sap River starts here at the confluence of the Mekong and the Tonle Sap rivers. There is a cruise you can do. I don't know if it's showing it. Well, there's a sunset cruise. I think I hid the GPS line for it, but it goes out this way. At sunset, comes back around to go to the other side of Kroi Chongbar. It's Silk Island up here. It's really two islands. It's not worth going to, in my opinion. Weavers. I'm sure you can see other places. Tonle Sap River goes down this way towards Vietnam. So, yeah, it's the border with Vietnam. You can catch night buses into Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. I think it's 8 hours to Ho Chi Minh City by bus from Phnom Penh. Maybe longer, maybe 12 hours. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll go into Krati province here in Strung Trang or not. I was debating whether I should do that. I've already been in that area of Laos in the Bolavan Plateau. There's not much for me to see up here. So I thought I'd go through Isan area. I wanted to go to Surin, this winter and start there, fly into Bangkok and start it, but they canceled the Elephant Roundup, or kind of canceled it for the king's death. Everything is kind of in mourning, I think. So I didn't do it. And I don't know if I'll go up here either. Kokang, I guess it is. So that's Phnom Penh and most of Cambodia in a nutshell. There's really not much to it. Angkor Wat is definitely worth seeing. That's the highlight for most people. Some people only go really to Angkor Wat, and then everything else is kind of just filler on their trip on their way to Thailand or Cambodia, Vietnam. So Battambang is worth visiting too. It's got some interesting architecture. I thought maybe I could take a boat trip on the Sangkar River down this way, actually, and end up down by the Thai border through here after I go to Siem Reap, maybe. I don't know. So if you go to that nice gym, they'll do like a body fat analysis and all this kind of stuff. Good to know everything was in normal range. I think you can get the bus to Sihanouk for as cheap as $5. I paid $10. My guest house did it for me. You always pay at least $2-3 extra dollars. I don't know if it's the big bus or not, but you're probably better off on a small bus. They drive a little faster to get here. 4 hours maybe instead of 5 or 6. This is the program for the Bofana movie house. They have a little bit of photos on the wall if you go in there. So does the Foreign Correspondence Club. The photos on the wall at the Foreign Correspondence Club are actually by the photographer that John Malkovich played in The Killing Fields. Kind of a well-known, famous guy for photographing Cambodia. At least on, I guess, the Khmer, up to the Khmer Rouge. Maybe afterwards too, he came back, I don't know. So that's it, I think. Brewery. Here's a map of Phnom Penh. It's the Coastal magazine I picked up on stuff to do around here. Killing Fields. You can go to Killing Fields yourself, although, if you're going in a group, it's worth probably renting a tuk-tuk. One person, you could just ride the motorbike, depending on your comfortability. The Aeon Mall opened last year. That's a Japanese franchise mall. They're all over Japan and now in Southeast Asia. So it'll give you a little bit better view of things. Central Market to me wasn't that interesting. I'm not a shopper. I mean, most of the stuff they had there that interested me was like in the food market. But you can buy everything there, clothing, electronics, such and such. So the boutique hotels run in the $40 to $60 range, and then like the luxury Western brand name hotels run, I think, around $100 to $150. Maybe you could get them as cheap as $80. So that's about it. It's now dark outside. Rain's dying down. Maybe I'll take a nap before I go get my laundry. Well, I hope you liked my video on Phnom Penh and Cambodia. I would advise traveling here with someone just because it's kind of depressing. You're at the route that is at the end. Most people who are doing a route, I just actually talked to some Germans, and the route they were taking through, most people fly into Bangkok, then a lot of times they'll fly up to Chiang Rai, and do an elephant experience, and then they'll go into Lao at Bokeo province, and they'll go over to Luang Prabang. It's Vang Vieng. Luang Prabang is here, I guess. No, that's Xishuangbanna, that's too far north, that's China. Work. Let's see. Yeah, this is Luang Prabang here. So yeah, a lot of people go to Luang Prabang, and they go down by bus to Vang Vieng, which used to be a backpacker haven. Still kind of is, but they cracked down on the drugging because people were drowning. I think in like 1 year, a dozen Australians died. Then they go down to Vientiane, and then they take the bus down this way. Maybe they stop at the caves. Konglor Cave. Then maybe it's like really a side trip. A lot of people just head straight down if they're on the short trip to that's Savannah Ket again. A lot of people skip that, and they go straight down to Sifondan area, Pak Se, go up on the Bolavan Plateau area. Some people skip this. This is the most beautiful part of Laos. There's all these waterfalls everywhere. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then they go down to Champasak maybe, or they skip Champasak. I went to Champasak for Wat Phu, which is a famous historic UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's only 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Laos. And then Sifondan area in this cataract of the Mekong. Then they cross through on a night bus a lot of times and head straight, I think, for Siem Reap or Phnom Penh and Angkor Wat, and then maybe continue into like Ho Chi Minh and fly to Ho Chi Minh, or they take a night bus from Phnom Penh or Siem Reap back to Bangkok. So you're meeting, if you're in here and trying to meet people, can sometimes be at the end of their route. I did meet some tourists, more French, who were doing the former colonies, so they were on their way to Vietnam, and they were really only stopping in Phnom Penh. So it can be hard to meet up with fellow travelers. You can still do it, but I don't think it seemed like when you're in the smaller cities in Laos, it's easy to like meet up with people and people hanging out at the hostels. Phnom Penh's big enough that everybody tries to go out for nightlife, but it's small enough that the nightlife is really disappointing, you know? So it's like big enough to be stressful, like you have to take a tuk-tuk, where are we going? We're going here, we're going there. Everywhere kind of sucks. So, you know, Lao and Vientiane, I think the population of it's 1.6 million in Phnom Penh, maybe. And I want to say, what does it say here? 2 million. How much are in Vientiane? It's a smaller capital, maybe 600,000 in Vientiane. Vientiane's on the Mekong River. And Vientiane has meow, 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 meow. Why did I not list it? Maybe I put it in here at the airport. Thought it was 1.6. It's smaller anyway, feels smaller. Beep, 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 beep. So that's kind of comparison of the area as well. Put things in perspective.